Xander Zayas versus Patrick Teixeira. 10 rounds in the 154-pound division. Let's get into it. Let's start with Zayas. 18 wins, no losses, 12 wins by way of knockout. Zayas is headlining his first big fight, man. There's a lot of pressure that can come with that as well. The pressure to put forth a great performance, the pressure to handle the big stage, the pressure to be a big enough attraction where the room can sell out no matter the size. There's a lot that can come with that type of pressure, and we're going to see how he handles that. Do I think that'll bother him on the night? No, I do not. But throughout my experience in the professional world of sports, man, the one thing most people don't put into the mix is the human emotional side of things. Our nerves, our anxiety, the lights isn't always easy to control. Inside the ring, man, Zayas to this point has proved that he is that dang good, man. We've covered Zayas a few times on the channel already. We got to go back to his most recent performance, man. We know the package of Xander Zayas by now. The speed, the quickness, the athleticism, the combinations, the power. He has a lot of tools in his skill set. He's got good pop in his shots. I think he's getting better defensively as well too. And in his most recent fight, he fought Fortia. I like how the fight started. He wasn't too aggressive, man. He was the right amount of pressure, the right amount of aggression, that calculated aggression. He let off combinations. He was using feints well to set up his shots. And when he missed a punch, he used his footwork to get out of range, to reset himself and find a nice space to get back to work. He had a few really nice counter punches, man. Fortier is a counter puncher himself. And Zayas, he was prepared for that by the movement that he was making. And the other thing that I've always liked about Xander Zayas, man, he's a very good body puncher. He dropped Fortier in the first round with a nice counter body shot. Once Zayas dropped him in the first round, man, Fortia became a lot more hesitant. He wasn't as confident. He was shelling up on the ropes willingly, and Zayas completely took over the fight, man. He completely did what he wanted to do in that fight. And you could see and kind of sort of tell, obviously you would never know, but you get a feeling that this fight wasn't going to last too much longer. But I like Zayas' discipline on the fight. There's been a couple fights where you could see he was gunning for the knockout and he was leaving himself open to getting clipped, and he would get clipped, but he was more disciplined in this fight. And you can tell Fortia was trying to bait Zayas in, trying to get him to make a mistake so he could counter him. But Zayas didn't bite that bullet, man. He was patient, and he was able to close out the show in the fifth round with a body shot. I like Zayas' discipline in that fight because he was patient and didn't force the fight, and he found the right openings, and he took advantage of it when he was there, right? And he was able to close out the show. So he's on his way up, but this is going to be a very good test, man, because Teixeira is going to be a much tougher test than his most recent fight. But of course, we'll see how it goes on the night. Let's talk about his opponent, Patrick Teixeira. 33 wins, 4 losses, 25 wins by way of knockout. Teixeira is an experienced fighter. He's a southpaw, so that could face his own challenges for Zayas as well, too. He's fought guys at the top level, and he's beaten some guys at the top level. When he fought Nathaniel Gallimore, man, Gallimore was coming off of his first loss of his career, but he was still atop the division at the time when they fought. And he's got win over Carlos Adames as well, too. And even thinking about that fight, I mean, like, what a fight that was by its own right. He had to weather a lot of that storm that was working against him when you're fighting a guy like Carlos Adames, right? But he also took the fight to Adames as well. There was a couple things that I learned about Patrick Teixeira on that night. One, I learned the type of chin that he had because Adames was unloading on Teixeira, man. His eyes were swollen, blood was coming down. It looked all bad, but Teixeira kept punching, kept fighting back. And that's the other thing that I learned about him. There's no quitting this guy, man. He is going to will himself to stand. He's going to will himself to keep throwing punches and keep fighting as long as he is on his feet. Teixeira was landing some big uppercuts in the second half of the fight, man, and scored himself a knockdown in the 7th round to get himself back in the fight. Carlos Adames was supposed to come in and dominate this fight, but Teixeira had a different opinion of how this fight was going to go. That was probably the best version of Teixeira that I've seen to this point, right? He had to earn every single bit of that win, and he had to dig very, very, very deep. And he started to separate himself in the championship rounds, and he got himself the win, man. The uppercut was lethal and on point, but his heart also kept him up and was working in his favor as well, too. It was an excellent performance in a fight where it wasn't really looking like Teixeira was going to be able to stand the whole fight. And he was the one that was, making gestures and taunting a little bit as the fight ended. So this is a tough cap, man. He's a long night to fight, because if you don't take him out, he's going to keep coming forward. And the will of a fighter, man, Xander Zayas has to be ready for that. There's no quitting Teixeira, right? Teixeira also fought Brian Castano. And straight up, he just got outworked that fight, man. Castano was constantly on the front foot, applying pressure, and he was punching every single time he got in close. When Teixeira was trying to create separation and move laterally, Castano would loop shots into where he was going to be, and he was getting through with those shots as well, too. It was a close range type of fight, which, based on what we've seen from when Teixeira fought Carlos Adames, that was kind of more up his alley. But on the night, that wasn't what the situation was for Teixeira. It wasn't that same version of a fight. Felt like he got completely overwhelmed and was way more uncomfortable in the Castano fight than he was in the Adames fight. And he was struggling to handle that pressure and the constant volume and the constant pressure of Brian Castano, man. Punches were coming in from all over, from all angles, from Castano as well, too. And it just wasn't his night. But that wasn't to say that he wasn't holding his own, because he was. He was landing some punches himself. It just wasn't enough work on the night to get him the win. And he almost got stopped in that 12th round. A body shot hurt him. But, Teixeira's a tough man. Teixeira is a tough man. He never went down. He stood the test, and he did lose the fight, but he still finished on his feet. After that, he fought Magomed Kurbanov and came up short there as well, too. So gave a good effort against Kurbanov, but he just didn't have enough offensive firepower to be able to keep up with Kurbanov. But since that, man, he's been on a 3-fight win streak, and he stopped all 3 of his opponents. So this is a good, solid fight for Xander Zayas, because Teixeira is going to test him on a few different levels. Will Xander Zayas be up for that test? We'll see on the night. So who wins? Before I give my pick on this fight, I have something real quick to share. I'm always looking to bring more light, more value, more opportunities for the community. I've been working on a few different things in recent weeks to not just grow the channel, but as I said, to continue to provide as much value as I can to each of you in our community. With that being said, I got some exciting news to share. I'm happy to announce my partnership with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert. It's a great opportunity for you to join some of the best sports books to get the best odds and new user offer. All you have to do is head over to my dedicated page at signupexpert.com/the breakdown to explore a selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with its own unique offerings. So if you want to place a bet this weekend and on this fight and beyond, check out the link to find the best options for you in your region. Every sign up does support the channel, and it helps the channel grow and to expand and to create more opportunities, not just for me, but for our community. I'm always looking out for you guys as best as I can. You can easily find the link in the description below this videos moving forward. So get down there and check it out and find the best option for you. Now, let's get back to the video. Teixeira is as tough as they come, man. He's only been stopped once back in 2016. He got caught with a perfectly timed counterpunch by Curtis Stevenson, and it was over with. Adames unloaded on Teixeira, and he stood and finished the fight, and he got the win. So he's got a good shin and even a bigger heart, right? Zayas has to be patient in this fight and let the fight come to him. But, the pressure of Brian Castano against Teixeira, it gave Teixeira problems. Maybe Zayas can take a little bit of that pressure and make it work in his favor and use his skill set to manipulate it a little bit and definitely go to the body early, since we've seen that Teixeira has been hurt to the body. The other thing, too, for me with Teixeira is his last 3 fights were at 175, 160, and 168. So he hasn't fought at 154 pounds in 2 years. That could play a factor. Zayas is an excellent body puncher. Teixeira been hurt to the body a few times with the weight drain. Again, these are things that could add up and could play a factor, especially if Zayas starts targeting the body early. Teixeira has good popping as well, too. He's got some slick uppercuts, man. If he can weather the storm and make it a grueling fight, he might be able to upset the favorite, as he's done before when he fought Carlos Adames. And I think the southpaw stance will be tricky for Zayas as well, too. Hopefully Zayas doesn't walk into any shots that he shouldn't or gets baited in. But I think the stance will make him start out slow and play things a little bit safe, especially at the beginning of the fight. But I like Xander Zayas to win this fight by decision. I think if Zayas is going to stop Teixeira, it could be to the body and hitting him with some nice, consistent body shots. I think it would be an impressive performance, man. And a statement made again if he can stop Teixeira, because again, this is a step up for Xander Zayas. I think it goes the distance, and I think Xander Zayas comes out on top on the night. So that's my thoughts. I would love to hear from you. Who do you think wins this one? How do you think it goes? Let me know in the comment section below. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a couple ways you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. I don't always get to do all the suggested videos you guys suggest in the comment section below. But if you become a member, those suggested videos rise to the top, and I will do my best to get those done for you. Or if you'd like to become a member, just to show love and to support the channel, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated as well. Shout out to all the members holding down the membership section, man. I appreciate each of you. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this long, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.